With HLX being a hot topic, as Valve is cooking right now, 2025 is potentially going to be a big year for Half-Life, as HLX is far into development, and we could be getting an announcement this year. So I wanted to have some fun, and make a small wish list of some stuff that I would personally like to see come with HLX. First and foremost, the return of Gordon, Barney, and Kleiner, as HLA only saw the return of Eli, and Russell was a brand new character. We had nobody from 2 besides Eli in HLA, so we haven't seen Dr. Kleiner in over 20 years at this point. Haven't seen Magnuson in 20 years, Barney since episode 1. While Russell is a great character, and I would love to see him come back as well, I would like to see Barney and Kleiner return to help and aid Gordon and Eli in their adventure in the next game. Especially Barney. Barney's our bro. He's Gordon's pal and colleague from Black Mesa. Alex, on the other hand, as she might appear in the game, we don't really know if she's gonna come back or not. Based off the post-credit scene for HLA, no spoilers, it's possible she's not that present in the game, but could still show up at some point with Barney, Kleiner, Eli, and Dr. Magnuson as more prominent companions and allies throughout the game. New weapons, akin to Half-Life 2 and HLA. With every major Half-Life release, 1, 2, and then Alex, the arsenal has changed. From Half-Life 1 to 2, the only 3 weapons that stayed the same was the revolver, the spaz, and the crossbow. The pistol and the SMGs changed, and then the other arsenal changed, I guess besides the grenades and RPG, but they're 2 different RPGs and grenades. Half-Life 1 had the Tau Cannon, Glue-On Gun, Hive Hand, Snarks, Trip Mines, and Satchels, while Half-Life 2 only had Bug Bait, and that was pretty much it when it came to special weapons besides the Gravity Gun. And then obviously the crowbar, but that didn't change between 1 and 2. Half-Life Alyx, on the other hand, had a very limited amount of weapons that you could have. And for Alyx, it makes sense. She doesn't have the suit to give extra strength to use the weapons that she probably would want to use, so it makes sense. But she only had her gun, the shotgun, and the SMG. Unfortunately, you can't use melee in the game, which I wish you could, but that's what mods are for. Workshop. With Half-Life 2 recently getting Workshop, and HLA already having Workshop, unfortunately Half-Life 1 does not. I really wish Valve would change that. It'd be nice to have Half-Life 3 or HLX have Workshop day 1 for custom maps, replacement models. Basically the same thing that HLA and Half-Life 2's Workshop does, because that's what Workshop's for. Custom stuff, new maps, new weapons, anything the community can think of for a new or custom experience. I think Half-Life 3 or X having Workshop would be pretty fun and unique, especially for a game that's brand new, and obviously you're not going to use Workshop day 1. You want to play through the game the way it's meant to be played, and then you do a Workshop playthrough. Deathmatch. Half-Life 1 and 2 have some of the most fun deathmatch modes I've played in any game. While Half-Life 2's isn't built in, which I hope Valve still does someday, because Half-Life 1's is built in. Alex never got one for obvious reasons. It's VR, come on, it probably wouldn't work, and they probably don't care enough. I think Half-Life 3 or X having just classic deathmatch, TDM, free-for-all, and capture the flag, at least just those, would work really well, I think. It would keep the player base numbers up, as once people finish the campaign, they can go play deathmatch. I mean, basically just take Half-Life 2's deathmatch and slap it into X or 3, but make it modern, not have some issues, that type of thing. I think people would get a kick out of it, having a classic deathmatch mode in a modern game. People probably wouldn't expect that. Arena shooters are kind of dead, but I think just a classic deathmatch mode would work perfectly, and it would fit Half-Life really well. Arctic. I have been wanting a Half-Life game set in the Arctic for years. In fact, since episode 2, and they teased, the Arctic and all that. I like Arctic environments in games. It's one of my favorite environments in games. And since Half-Life is my favorite game and series and franchise, mixing the two would be great. If you played the Interlude demo or the Project Borealis or Infinite Finale, Half-Life and Snow just mix really well, weirdly, and it's just a good combo. Plus, I mean, come on, snowy environments in Half-Life that look really pretty. You can't go wrong with that. They even had Borealis in Half-Life 2's beta. We've been teased on snowy environments for over 20 years at this point. So come on, Valve. Even if it's one segment. I just want Arctic Half-Life. Cut in new enemies would be nice, like some Arctic snowy hound eyes, snowy bullseye. Maybe bring the Hydra back for like just a small area of the game and, you know, kind of work around that. Or some new ones. I would always love to see some new enemies. They have done that with Alex, that had some new Combine soldiers, and there's Jeff, that was new. Obviously, Valve's gonna have a couple new enemy types. There's no way we get the major third title, and there's no new types of enemies. But I think long-time fans would appreciate seeing some old stuff get brought back and used really well. New stuff is always fresh. It's just a small wish, but I would like to see some flashbacks to Half-Life 1 and 2. Kind of just like that sequence in Episode 2 where G-Man shows you Black Mesa. That type of thing. Even if it was just for a G-Man speech in X or 3, and he brings you back Black Mesa or City 17 to reminisce. Kind of just a small little throwaway gag to show like, hey, these are the older games. They still exist, you know, that type of thing. Just a cool little Easter egg, mostly. Just for the long-time fans to say, like, hey, here's Half-Life 1 and here's Half-Life 2. Last but not least, optional VR. There was always rumors of Half-Life 3 or HLX being VR only, or having VR and PC as a mode where one person plays in VR and the other plays on desktop. I don't know how that would work. I don't think making Half-Life 3 fully VR would be a good idea. Maybe having it as an optional thing, because realistically, if Valve doesn't do it officially, there will be a community mod. You can play 1, 2 in the episodes in VR, and then obviously there's Alex. So you can play the whole series in VR. It would make sense to have an optional VR mode for 3 and Out or 3 and X, just so you can continue the series in VR, if you wanted. It's not a necessity, it's not like it needs to happen, but I think some can agree that at least having it as an optional thing that you can do would actually complement the game pretty well, if you so choose to. Especially with the rumors of the Deckard coming out at the end of the year, as Valve is making a follow-up to the Index. So having a new headset, and then combining that with an optional VR mode for their new flagship single-player game, it just makes sense. That's pretty much it for now. I can't really think of anything else that would be on the wish list. Those are pretty much my top ones. Reoccurring characters from the old games, new weapons, workshop and deathmatch would be great. An Arctic environment, new or cut enemies, or both. Just some flashbacks to Half-Life 1 and 2 for fun, not required at all. Optional VR, not required at all, but would be nice. Whatever Valve is cooking, I'm sure will get me excited, and it will be amazing. It's all but confirmed to be Half-Life 3, and the idea that it's finally coming after all this time, it is hard to believe. Playing Episode 2 when I was little, and then never getting a continuation, waiting years, and then Alex comes out just to continue Episode 2 by 5 seconds. It hurts, but I'm very excited for what Valve is cooking, and it's Half-Life, so I'm going to eat it up. If you have any ideas or wants you'd like to see, comment them below, and I'll check them out. If you like Half-Life and are excited for HLX, subscribe. I'm playing through all the games and some mods leading up to HLX, and would like for you to come along. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you up ahead.